welcome, welcome. How's everybody doing tonight? Great. All right. So I see a lot of new faces out here. How many of you, just see a show of hands, how many of you guys are, obviously the students are going to be new to Madison, but how many of the parents here are going to be new to Madison this year, next year? All right, well, welcome. My name is Tim Buckley. I am the Director of Student Services here at Madison, and I'd like to welcome you to Curriculum Night. We've got a great program here for you tonight. I'm just going to go over a quick overview. So, in here, we will be in here from 6:30 to 7:15. You'll have an opportunity to meet, to hear from department chairs, obviously our principal, some of our APs, and the counseling staff. And we'll go over sort of the transition and what to expect next year going into 9th grade. If you are a student or a parent of a student who is in 10th, 11th, or 12th, and you were looking for the AP panel program, that's going to be right now at 6:30, that's going to be over in Warhawk Hall, which will be right across the hallway here. All right? So real quickly to look up here, we will have you in here until about roughly 7:15. From 7 all the way till 8 o'clock, all the different departments and the electives have set up stations for you to go around. These are not individual sessions starting at any particular time, so there are booths and tables set up. So please feel free to browse, go from station to station to try and get the information you're looking for. We've tried to consolidate, so most of the activities, or almost all of them, are on this side of the building, so you don't have to walk too far. Hopefully you got a little half sheet, which is this information right up there, and it'll also list you where the different items, where the different classrooms are. If you did not get one, you can get one on the way out when we leave this program. All right? So, without further ado, I would like to introduce our esteemed principal, the one, the only, Mr. Hood.
Thank you, Mr. Buckley. It's great to see everybody tonight. Let me ask a different question. How many students here have had a brother or sister come through Madison? You can raise your hand. All right, I thought it would have been a lot more than that. That's great. You can believe everything that they told you. I am 100% certain it's true. I'm going to be relatively short tonight because you're going to get a lot of information that you're going to be trying to pick up and digest tonight. But there are a couple of key points that I do want to share with you. One is for the students, I can guarantee that you are going to absolutely love it here at Madison for the next 4 years. And I'm so confident in that guarantee, that if after 4 years you don't love it, I'll let you come back for another 4 for free. Nobody's taken me up on it yet, so it must be a great guarantee. No. So a couple things to know is whether you want to excel academically, in the performing arts, athletically, in the fine arts, or whether you want to just come up with a club or activity for yourself, it is here. You can find just about anything that you want to do at the high school level. We have so many different opportunities for students to find their passion and interest. So what I would just say is look for that. If you already know what it is, it's here. If you don't, you can help us create it for you. So know that. So a couple things about Madison. One is obviously a tradition of excellence, founded in 1959, started that excellence. But we have a lot of different markers by outside groups that just talk about all the different things that's great about Madison by some of the outside benchmarks. And in some ways I don't even want to show that because I think those are just small snapshot of what some of the things we do well, but there is so much more that makes up a school. When you think of things like school spirit, when you think about a positive atmosphere, when you think about great teachers. In fact, we're actually going through a process now. We're collecting feedback from our students, from our teachers, from our community. What makes a great school? Because that's really what we want to measure ourselves against, not some of the traditional benchmarks that you hear about. So starting off that, where I think a lot of it starts is not only with the great students that we have and that you send us. We know that you send us your best and brightest because we get them every year. But we have an incredible staff here. It's one thing we pride on. Staff actually want to, teachers, support staff, whoever it may be, they actually want to come to Madison and be a part of this community and be a part of this school. So it's, for us, it's much easier, I think, than most schools to find great people because people want to come here and be a part of our tradition here. In fact, we have 23 right now of our current faculty members were actually students here at Madison. So it's great to have them back in our community. One other thing we do, I think is somewhat unique for Madison, is really our connection with all of our community schools. I meet monthly with our pyramid schools, which is the elementary principals, the middle school principals, and we really go and think about how we prepare our students, not just here at our individual schools or here at Madison, but looking at from preschool all the way up to grade 12. How are we preparing our students to make sure they're ready for the outside world? Not just college, but even for their life ahead. So this is our vision as a school. We came up with this about 2 years ago, worked about 6 months coming up with it. And it was more about students than just being able to have the content knowledge, but really looking beyond that. What do we want our students to do? I won't go through it in detail, but really what it's about is developing creative and resilient global citizens. We want our students, when they leave here, to be able to solve problems on their own, find unique solutions. If they run into a problem or something that's difficult, that they can bounce back and say, you know what, I can get it the next time if I work harder. So it's really one of those things that we truly believe in. We're building it in every way we can possible into our curriculum and throughout our school day. We have some great people here in terms of the administration. I'll briefly introduce them to you. First, we have Miss Calvert. You can see the student's name there. Miss Calvert is one of our assistant principals right here. It's okay to clap. Miss Coleman couldn't be here tonight, so she's out on medical leave, but will be back. We have Mr. Plunkett over here. I'm gauging to see who gets the most applause here. We have Miss Robeson. Miss Farish. And we have our Director of Student Activities, Mr. Kenny. I think I'm going to give that to Miss Farish. I think she won. Congratulations. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over now. I'm going to just welcome you here. Just again, keep an open mind tonight. Pick up as much as you can. Recognize you can have multiple opportunities to pick up information throughout now and the start of next year. I would just say that get your students involved in any way they can with even activities that are going on, visiting our website, we do a MAD memos once a month, coming to activities, just picking up things along the way. You're not going to be able to pick up everything tonight, but tonight is just an introduction to a lot of information. So just keep your eyes and ears open, become a part of Madison. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Kenny, who's going to talk a little bit more about our athletics and student activities. Mr. Kenny.
Hey, Mr. Hood. Welcome everybody, and I'm super excited here for this information that I'm going to give you tonight. So this is my first year as the Director of Student Activities at Madison. Prior to taking on this role, I was an AP here, and I've been here since 2014. Absolutely love the school, love the kids, love the activities, and I like to think of myself as one of the best, if not the best job in Fairfax County Public Schools, because I'm the one that gets to go to a lot of different events and see kids pursue passions outside of the classroom, whether it's on the sports, performing arts, clubs, different activities. And so I really find myself enjoying watching kids grow and flourish and develop in these extra activities. So as Mr. Hood alluded to, the school started in 1959. And since then we've had 21 state championships. We've got world-class activities and athletics and facilities here, and I'm always kind of trying to think of things that how can we make them better? And for those of you that have been around Madison for a couple of years, or if you've been on the facilities and on the grounds, you know that we just got a brand new or replacement turf field in the stadium. We got stuff going on in the gyms. These auditorium seats are brand new this past year. So lots of things that I think we take great pride in the way the school looks and how we want it to be, so that when people visit Madison and when you come to Madison, that you take pride in your school. So it's exciting there. So a couple little pieces here. So within the athletics and activities, we have approximately, well, let me put it back up here. We're part of the VHSL, which is the Virginia High School League. So we compete with all the different schools across the state of Virginia. They're broken into districts and regions and then state from a competition standpoint. We have approximately 42 teams over 3 seasons, fall, winter, and spring. Of those 42 teams, we host probably 300 games here, and there's probably another 200 games elsewhere that we go. So there's probably, I would say, over 500 games and activities that kids participate in representing Madison. We have on site here roughly 80 clubs from different things, from the robotics club to the C club to the Red Cross to SAD. So there's a whole bunch of different things that the kids can get involved in and that you can support as parents to find a passion, because maybe not everybody is an athlete, not everybody's a performer, or they want their arts, etc., etc. So as you see, we have the marching band, you have chorus, orchestra, robotics, the leadership class, SGA. There's a lot of different little pieces in here. So as Mr. Hood alluded to, is you want to find something that's a passion of yours, that is an interest of yours, that wants to keep you or get you involved in the school. That's going to be one of the greatest transitions forward from middle school to high school. A little bit nerve-wracking at first, but then you'll settle down nicely. You'll find your group of friends, and it's a great little setup for you. So what I've got for you here over the next 3 slides are the different sports that we offer by season. So in the fall, you've got the football at 3 levels, field hockey at 3 levels, only girls volleyball at 3 levels. Cross country, you've got 2 teams, but they kind of have a JV race and a varsity race. You've got cheer, freshman, JV, and varsity. You've got co-ed golf, you've got girls club golf, and you've got dance. Dance is unique because that's usually a 2-season sport where activity starts in, actually they'll do tryouts in May, and it will go all the way until the following February. So that's quite a lengthy process there. In the winter, we got boys and girls basketball, 3 different levels, gymnastics, indoor track, swim and dive for boys and girls, wrestling, and then the second part of the dance there. And then we go into the spring, you've got softball, JV and varsity, baseball, JV and varsity, lacrosse and soccer, both boys and girls, JV and varsity, track and field, tennis on boys and girls side, and then crew. So there's, you can see there's a number of sports and activities there that kind of keep you involved, keep you going. So let's talk about some paperwork here, and then the next slide we'll talk about some dates that are super important. So take your cameras out, get ready to take some pictures here. So a couple things that are VHSL requirements and some are FCPS requirements. But I'm going to give you a little secret, and hopefully you remember this one. Start now, actually start May 1 until it's all done, and then you'll be good for the whole year. So the first piece has to do with your physical form. And I'll talk about dates, but if you want to participate, whether it's tryout, conditioning, out-of-season practice days, you have to have a physical. That must be dated after May 1st, 2018. And it's always a tough one, depending on how your insurance cycle is within the physicals. It must be on form February 2017. So there's a lot of forms that have in the upper right-hand corner the dates. There's some that'll say March 2013, some that'll say 15. So I'm really just trying to encourage you, because you're going to go to your primary care physician. He or she's just going to rip out the next form that they use, and it's the wrong one. And then we have to kind of go back and play a little catch up there. So just make sure you kind of keep track of that. Then we have concussion education, and that's an FCPS program going on there. And that has to be done by every single athlete and at least one parent, and that parent covers all the children. So if you've got 4 kids here, parent does it once, each kid does it once, and then you're good to go. And these are good for the entire school year. Then you've got the emergency care card, and at some point FCPS is going to get smart enough to figure out how to make this thing on a PDF and have it electronically. But in the meantime, right now, you're going to be doing this a couple of times for next year, because it's got to be on file with every single different coach or activity. So my suggestion to you would be fill it out once, make several photocopies, and when it's requested, you have it, you're ready to go. And then we have the weight room form and participation pledge. And those are other forms that allows you to get into the weight room with your teams, the participation pledge, what it kind of means to do extracurricular activities, and we kind of think of those as a privilege and not necessarily as a right, and so we kind of go from there. So take a picture of that one, that'd be good for you. And then let's talk about some important dates. So May 21st, so I talked to you about that physical night that has to be after May 1st. So this is a great opportunity for you guys in a couple ways. May 21st is after May 1st. Therefore, it'll satisfy the physical requirement. It's $50 at Madison, and it supports our athletic training program. So everything that the county gets and all the ATCs, we have 2 ATCs that support our teams, all of their funding comes from that night to kind of sponsor that. And that's an easy process. We get the local medical field to come through here, they kind of do the physicals, and you're off the races. And again, it's a one-shot deal and you're done. July 30th, my gosh, it's crazy. July 30th is the first day of tryouts for fall sports. So as you guys start to see the calendars start to shift and move further and further back, there's a slight chance they may adjust that to August 1st, which is that Wednesday. But by and large, July 30th, the county and the state requires X number of practices before competitions and games start. So that's why they have to kind of calculate that date there. Some other dates for you, August 6th. Anybody that's interested in marching band, so Mr. Hackbarth from the band, I'm sure he'll eventually make his way over towards the middle schools. That starts on August 6th. And then just to give you some other dates, November 5th, that's when tryouts for winter sports start. And February 18th, 2019 for next spring's tryouts. So it's kind of cold to start, but the weather kind of changes pretty quick and we kind of go from there. One point I want to make on the fall sports, we start July 30th. And a lot of times we'll go through the tryout process and then we'll make our team. And then the next thing you know, everybody's coming to coach saying, hey, I've got vacation next week or the next 2 weeks or whatever it is and wherever you're going. So I kind of want to put it out there now and just kind of let you know, the expectation is that when you make that team somewhere around August 1st and 2nd or 3rd that week, that practices start right away. It's not, hey, congratulations, you made the team. See you in a couple weeks. It's tryouts, make the team, we're into practices. Because we actually start games and contests before school even starts. So that always kind of catches people a little off guard. So I know right about now, and I may even be a little bit late as far as your vacation planning, but you're going to want to have plans that you're staying in town so that your son or daughter can fulfill his or her obligation to be at those practices. So I want to give you that heads up there, and then we go from that point on. We do have the website here, warhawksports.org, and that gives us a lot of information. We do our best to try to update and keep that going. And then again, if you always want to follow us, I try to do as many updates as I can as different events and contests and scores on Twitter at JMHS Athletics. And we kind of go from there. What I'll probably do is, rather than bogging this thing down, I'll stick around after, and then you guys can come up and ask some quick questions, and we can kind of go from there. All good? Thank you. Welcome to Madison. Have a great evening.
All right, thank you very much. At this time, we're going to jump into our curriculum, and I'm going to bring up some of the department chairs. But I want to take a minute. I see a lot of people standing, and I counted right up in these first 4 rows, 42 open seats. So please, if you would like to come on down, right now we'll give you a minute, come on down and grab a seat. There are seats down here. The whole first row is empty. I will try not to stand too close to you, I promise. We've got some seats here in the front, the second row. All right. At this time, thank you, Mr. Kenny, for covering the activities and the athletics. And that's what we want you to understand, that Madison is more than just a school. It's a community. And to be involved in that community, I think it's important for the students to come in here and get involved in a lot of different things. But obviously, one of the reasons you're here tonight is to talk about the curriculum, hence the name Curriculum Night. So this program right now, we're going to shift into, this is geared towards the rising 9th graders. What you see up here is basically the draft of what your students and the students, what you will be taking your freshman year. You're going to take an English 9 class. You're going to take World History and Geography 1. You're going to take a math class to be determined based on where you are right now and what you're taking. Biology, PE 9, Health and PE 9, and then 2 electives, one of which could be a world language if you want to start one or continue with one, okay? So at this point, what we're going to do is start bringing up the department chairs to briefly talk about their particular subject and what your options are in that field. So I'm going to start off with Mr. Romeo to address science.
Thank you. I guess for representing Madison Science, I seem to recall there's a companion high school here in Fairfax County. You've probably seen they have a bumper sticker. It says, "We came for the sports." Well, I think if we had one for Madison, it would say, "We came for the science." In the science department, we offer, 16, as I count them, regular honors, AP, electives in the science. And if you simply take 4 science courses every year, you can take them all. However, I think we're going to make it easy for you as freshmen. Basically, your choices are really between you want to take standard biology or biology honors. So I'd like to just give you some factors so you can choose wisely, because you would like to make your students successful in their freshman year at Madison, and you would also like them to be happy to taking the science course here at Madison. So some things you can kind of factor in so far as factors. Please do not think I have to take honors biology so I can get to XYZ University. I don't think one choice, of course, in freshman year is going to be your make or break going to college. Oh, I have to take honors biology because I want to do well in the biology SOL. Our pass rate on the biology SOL for standard biology and honors biology is 97%. And we didn't get there because 104% of the honors biology pass rate, offset a 90% success rate for standard biology. Both did very well. If I don't take honors biology, I might be locked out of other honors and electives in science and even AP courses. No, that's not true here at Madison either, right? So those are factors you can already discount. Some of the factors you can, let's see, from the objective point of view, if you're choosing honors or standard biology. For honors biology, usually students that are successful will have completed Algebra 1 honors in middle school, so you can factor that in. If you can remember the science SLs that they took in 5th and 8th grade, our successful students have generally gotten a pass advance on those SOL exams. Also, I guess looking at grade-wise, generally in science they've been able to get a grade of A without taking multiple retakes. Also, maybe some subjective factors that could enter in. Does your student exhibit a passion for science? Do they engage in critical thinking, and do they enjoy cooperative work? Another key factor for choosing honors biology over standard, they have a good ability, self-motivation. They can complete reviews independently and are willing to study outside of class time. So those are some of the factors you can consider in making the choice. Again, ultimately, you'd like that choice to be, you'd like your student to be successful in freshman year, and we would like them to be happy taking the science course. If you need more information, science is in the band room off that direction if you want more information and also information on other electives here at Madison.
Thank you very much. Next to represent the English department, Mr. Allen.
Thank you. And borrow a step here, I'm shorter than some of these other department chairs. Good evening. On behalf of the English department, let me welcome the class of 2022. Behind me, you will see a basic overview of our options. Just as Mr. Romeo was explaining, we have a honors option available to you in 9th grade. I want to stress up front that the primary difference there will be the expectations on the student outside of class, that you might have a more accelerated pace with your reading, that we might dive a little bit more into the complexities of some of the writing topics we'll get into and some of the aspects of literature that we're studying. But across all of our grade levels, from 9 to 12 and across all of those preps, our primary goals in the English department are to help each and every student in this room and across your grade level to develop as a reader, as a writer, as a speaker, as a listener, and as a critical thinker. And in order to do that, we'll introduce a variety of exciting, interesting voices, ideas, and perspectives. We'll try to embrace some of your passions and the things that excite you now and bring those ideas into the classroom. As far as state testing requirements are concerned, all of that is handled in the 11th grade year. So there's nothing to be concerned about regarding SOL testing in your freshman year or in your sophomore year. And again, we boast very impressive pass rates. You'll hear that often throughout the night. So I don't think it matters particularly which track you find yourself on. I wouldn't make that a concern. I would make your decisions based on how deeply you want to explore the aspects of reading and writing and the study of literature and language. The AP course options will come up in your 11th and 12th grade year. I would also like to stress we have a variety of electives available to you. Journalism and newspaper production, photojournalism, which produces our yearbook. We've got a broadcast journalism course. We're bringing back creative writing starting this next year. Information on those courses will be available in the small gym. I will be in the band room, which is off in this direction tonight with a few of my colleagues to provide additional information about English courses of all levels across all grade levels. Thanks again for coming tonight.
And next up, Mr. Franz is our department chair for social studies. He could not be here this evening, so our administrator, Mr. Plunkett, is going to step in for him.
Thank you. So it's a pretty easy choice here, World 1 or World 1 honors. Let me tell you, I'm not the department chair, but I taught World 1 for 18 years. It's a great course, okay? And again, like all these other chairs are saying, there's no prerequisite. You can take World 1 and then move up to an honors later or to an AP later. So, you know, what I'm going to suggest to you, and you'll hear it from everybody, is go with your passion, go with what you're good at, okay? There is absolutely no reason that you have to just take this because, oh, that's, you know, what everyone else is taking. If you're a science person and you got an overloaded schedule, World 1 is a great class. You're going to be prepared for college at any level there. What are a few of the differences? World 1 versus World 1 honors. Honors has more work, probably about twice as much. You're looking at, you know, maybe an hour of homework every block there. It's independent reading. It's independent reading on a textbook level. So not only do you like to read, but you got to be able to read the textbook. It's a lot more group work. So you're going to have good group coordination, be able to coordinate groups on your own there, and do a lot of that outside of school there. But they're both great courses, and I'm going to be available in the library after this, so if you want to come see me, ask any more questions about that, we'll also have some teachers there. Welcome, guys. Look forward to a great year.
All right, next up, representing the World Language Department, Miss Howell, Madam Howell.
At Madison, we have 3 languages, French, Latin, and Spanish, and we offer levels 1 through AP in all 3 languages. We also have Spanish for fluent speakers levels 1 through 3. How many of you have already taken the level 1, or are taking right now level 1 class in middle school? Lots of you, good. If you have not, that's fine. Of course, you can start next year. And if you have, you will take level 2 next year. You'll sign up for your level 2 class in French, Latin, or Spanish. And you'll be familiar with the curriculum in that we use the same textbook, so students should be comfortable with the content. We also offer a level 5 class after level 4 for students who do not want the rigor of an AP class, so that they can continue their language studies until they go to college. After this session, I will be in the library where you will be able to meet my colleagues in all 3 languages, Spanish and Latin as well. Thank you and welcome.
And last but not least, from our wonderful math department, Miss Moy.
All right, so mine is a little bit more difficult than everybody else's. I think everybody else is like, okay, you're a freshman, take this. But if you're in Math 8, you'll take Algebra 1 next year. If you're in Algebra 1, you'll take Geometry next year. If you're in Algebra 1 Honors, then talk to your teacher about taking Geometry Honors. And if you're in Geometry Honors, talk to your teacher about taking Algebra 2 Honors. We don't really recommend that students jump from honors to regular and then back to honors. So if you would like to continue your mathematical thinking, your critical thinking level skills, your in an honors curriculum, then that's where you should stay. Since math is very specific to your own ability and your skill set, then I would really just recommend that you have a conversation with your math teacher about what your son or daughter should take or what you should take next year. They'll have the best idea of what would make sense with your schedule coming in freshman year. We'll be in Warhawk Hall. There's about 5 or 6 math teachers in there. to answer questions specific to your student. So I'm not going to go very in deep here because we can talk about your student specifically in there. So feel free to come down to Warhawk Hall and we'll answer any questions you might have. We also have giant sheets of what courses you can take the 4 years of math that you'll be here. Thanks.
Go math, go math. All right. First, I just want to let you know, and I should have done this right from the get-go, we are recording this session tonight, so all of you will be on the World Wide Web, so we need everyone to sign a permission slip on the way out. No, just kidding. But we are recording it, and this will go on the Madison website, so I see a lot of people taking pictures of things. Don't worry about it. You can go back into it. Ms. Branson, this will be updated about 5 minutes after the presentation?
So, absolutely, yes.
Let's say within a day or so. Okay. So that's the curriculum side. So we've kind of covered that, and after this session, you guys are going to have an opportunity to go get more information about the curriculum and the particular classes. But I want to take a couple minutes to talk about the rest of the school. And the rest